Hello, one and all. It's My Hero Academia, Chapter 352, Ultimate Moves. And it seems like the battle of brother versus brother has come to an end, not with fire, but with ice. And this was a bit unexpected for me. I mean, for one thing, Dabi is, basically immune to ice. He has a very strong resistance to it. And for another, the entire reason why Dabi and Shoto were bred, was for the sake of creating a child who's able to use Endeavor's big, flashy, ultimate fire moves without overheating, being able to use the ice quirk to basically keep the temperature regulated. And that's the entire reason why, Endeavor's been training Shoto to use the big, flashy fire moves. But instead, Shoto did basically the exact opposite of that. He used his fire quirk to regulate his temperature, so he was able to use his big flashy ice move without basically succumbing to frostbite. So good for him. I mean, he is still using everything Endeavor's taught him. If it wasn't for Endeavor, he wouldn't be able to control his flames well enough to regulate his body temperature and actually use his move without, like I said, succumbing to frostbite and basically freezing to death. Good for you, Shoto. Good for you. Though the question is certainly raised, has Dabi actually been defeated? Because like I said before, he has very strong resistance to ice, and while this was a very, very large bout of ice, I'm not sure if it's actually going to be enough to put Dabi down once and for all. I mean, for one thing, there's still a lot of elements of this fight that haven't really paid off yet. I mean, back in the hospital, Shoto's mom, his sister, his brother, they all basically agreed, okay, Dabi is a family issue, and we need to deal with him as a family. So, where are they in all this? What's their reaction to all of this? I mean, it would certainly be dangerous, but I would absolutely freaking love if next chapter they popped up like, yeah, we've been here the entire time. Dabi, let's have some final words with you before you die or get arrested or whatever happens next. I mean, Dabi is well and truly insane, so I don't really think they'd be able to change his mind all that much. I don't think they'd be able to make him think, hey, you know what? Maybe I should try being a hero. Maybe I should try being good. But there's also the fact that Dabi is basically being powered by hatred right now. His hatred for his father, his hatred for Hero Society, it is literally the only thing keeping him alive. So they may be able to, basically snuff those flames, dampen them enough where Dabi basically just dies. They could literally kill him with kindness. Oh, that'd be amazing. That'd be so freaking amazing. And if his family is here, that might also explain why Ida's here, because yeah, Ida's inclusion in this battle felt weird. Really, really weird, because fire is basically his weakness. When he overheats, he can't actually use the rockets on his legs, so there wasn't a whole lot he can do this battle against Dabi, but maybe his role is going to be basically to carry Dabi and Shoto's family to the battlefield from someplace further away so that they can have their final words with Dabi and convince him to basically die, to give up his hatred just a little bit. I mean, that would make some sense. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know why he's here. I just really don't know why he's here. I mean, Ida has been a fairly important character in the series since the beginning, since, basically the Stain fight. That was his big moment to shine, and I can't imagine the author just, forgot about Ida. I can't imagine the author decided not to give Ida any sort of big role in this ultimate final battle, so yeah, he has to do something. He has to freaking do something. I know a lot of people say, oh, this ending's so rushed, but even for a rushed ending, the author must remember Ida. The author must think, okay, what exactly is Ida going to do here? Because Ida's a fairly popular character. Ida's a fairly important character, and he could just not be forgotten. I could not imagine that's actually going to happen. So, yeah, if you have any ideas of what's going to happen with Ida, please let me know down below. I'm very curious about that. And I guess what's going to happen to Shoto as well, because, I mean, he managed to put down his brother fairly quickly. This fight was not very long. I'm sure, it's happening in parallel with all the other fights that are happening, but I mean, I feel like Shoto can rush over to some other battle somewhere, somehow, and lend a helping hand. I mean, I guess it's also possible that this fight actually took a lot out of him, and, and that using this ultimate ice move actually drained his endurance, and he's gonna, basically pass out after this. That would also make some sense. Not sure about that. I am not sure about that at all. Anyway, though, backstory of this chapter, we have another bathing scene, as Ida is very much encouraging everyone to finish bathing within 30 minutes, which is a weird bit of punctuality on Ida's side. I mean, he's been, a bit more reserved, a bit more calm this last few chapters after training with the one pro hero, so I didn't expect him to still be that uptight, especially about bathing. Also, 30-minute baths? How long do people normally stay in the bath for? I'm actually quite curious about that one. I mean, I know bathing is a big part of Japanese culture, and they have a very, very large bath in UA, but 30 minutes feels like a long time. It feels like a very, very long time. I do not know. I really don't know. We also get a bit of interesting lore about Shoto's powers, because apparently his heart is central to both his hot and cold manifest, and he's not just making himself hot or cold, he's literally like boiling and chilling his own blood, which somehow isn't killing him. I feel like that might be relevant to the Dabi fight. Maybe, oh God, I would actually hate for this to happen, but maybe, if Shoto and Dabi's mother does actually show up, Dabi will break free his restraints and will try to save her from some villain attack, and he'll get pierced through the heart, and that'll, end his flames and kill him, or actually maybe he'll be like pierced through the heart and will need like a heart transplant, and then he won't be able to make fire anymore because his heart was a fire heart, and that was what was actually allowing him to make all the heat. I mean, maybe that seems very unlikely though. Just feels like an interesting bit of dialogue. The heart is central to both the fire and the ice for Shoto. I'm curious about that. And then, oh my god, the shot of Dabi, it is terrifying. It is truly and utterly terrifying. All of his skin is completely burned off, and he's on his arms and legs like some sort of wild animal, screaming and raging. Just Jesus Christ. He cannot be considered human anymore. He cannot be considered human. He has completely and utterly lost it, which, makes sense. He's lost a lot of skin and a lot of sanity and was in a coma for a good number of years. And he is producing quite a bit of heat here, so much so that even the pro heroes who work under Endeavor, even the sidekicks essentially, who are used to basically being in hell with fire and flames, aren't able to keep up, and they are taking quite a bit of damage here. Ouch. I guess it means they're going to be, well and truly out of this fight once, Dabi's put down, but still, that's bad. That is really bad. And then we have Shoto's big ultimate finishing move, Great Glacial Age Air, and just, oh my god, this shot it is heartbreaking. It is really, really heartbreaking, as not only do we see, Dabi basically being put down by his brother, but we see what it looked like for them in the past. Dabi, Toya more, the boy who just won his father's love, who won his father's approval, is just, utterly heartbroken that he couldn't measure up. He couldn't be as strong, as powerful as the perfect student, as the perfect child, as the ultimate experiment that his father tried so hard to create. And he just couldn't measure up, and it is heartbreaking. I mean, even after everything Dabi's done, it is still just so heartbreaking to see Toya, this little boy, just be so defeated by his brother like this. It hurts. It actually really hurts. And I think this is something we're going to see again in the Shigaraki fight, because Tenko Shimura, he was, an innocent child who was utterly and completely destroyed by hero society, by his quirk, and all he ever wanted was to be a hero. That innocent child is still somewhere trapped inside of him, just begging to be freed, begging to be saved by Deku. So yeah, I'm very excited to see how that plays out in that fight. But anyway, though, we also get to see Shoto in his child form, in his chibi form, and he is not looking happy here. And while he did manage to defeat Dabi, he also managed to, basically probably more or less murder his brother, and that's not what he wanted. That's really, really not what he wanted. I mean, this is, hard for him, even though he never actually knew Toya. It's still his brother, it's still his family, and taking him out, killing him, and just, feeling maybe even a little responsible for his very existence is gotta hurt him. Because, the reason why Toya turned to Dabi, the reason why he went, fully and completely insane was because of Shoto, not because of anything he did, but rather because of his very existence. If Shoto hadn't been born, if this perfect child hadn't been created, then, maybe Endeavor wouldn't have given up on him. Maybe Endeavor would have kept training him. In fact, the entire reason why Toya didn't return home, at least didn't return home permanently, was because when he did, he saw Endeavor training Shoto and, basically just torturing him, and he realized, he was forgotten. He was left behind. That just broke him even more than being in a 5-year coma did. Oh, poor Toya. Poor Toya. And yeah, those are my thoughts on this chapter. Let me know else down below. Do you think Dabi has been truly and utterly defeated? Do you think there's going to be, a talk between the two brothers before he dies? Do you think, the rest of the family's going to show up? The mother, the sister, the brother? I would love to see that. I would really love to see that. I just don't really know how they do that safely. Ida, like I said, he might be able to bring them in. That might be his role in this fight, which would be kind of pathetic for such a major character, but it'd be something. It would at least be something. What would they say to him? Would they be able to dampen the flames enough for him to basically be killed by their kindness? That'd be a good way for him to go out. That'd be a very, very good way for him to go out. I've had this theory for a rather long time that, Dobby wouldn't actually die in this fight, but rather he'd be taken in alive, and then, the family would visit him in Tartarus once a week, once a month, and have a big old family dinner together as he cursed at them out and wished for them to die. I mean, that seems very unlikely now, though, because, as the doctor said last two chapters, the only reason why Dobby's managed to live as long as he has is because the flames of hatred are keeping him alive, and once those are dampened, he will probably die. So, yeah, it seems unlikely they can actually bring him into custody without killing him, especially after he's burned off I think most of his skin at this point. Yeah, he is just muscle. I do not know how good this world's doctors are, but I kind of feel like they won't be able to save him. I'm sorry, Dobby, you gotta die. And once this fight does end, which fight are we going to go to next? I mean, we still have Uraraka versus Toga. We still have Endeavor and Hawks versus All For One. I'm really not sure how that fight's going to go out, but my best guess is they're going to actually manage to kill him, and they're just going to have to deal with, the copy of him, the quirk version of him inside of Shigaraki. It would make some sense, I think. Gigantomachia, he is still out there somewhere. I mean, I know he was basically, put in chains, locked up somewhere secure, but there is no way that All For One is going to forget about him and leave him behind. He's going to break him out, and then we're going to have, a big ultimate final battle, all of Class 1A, 1B versus Gigantomachia. Oh, that'd be amazing. That'd be so, so amazing. We still have Spinner, who was out there doing something somewhere. I'm not really sure what it was. He looked, really muscular, though, so that's a bit concerning. But yeah, let me know all down below. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss my next video. And until then, peace!